Alrighty, human resource management students. Dr. Abernathy, we're just going to go over very quickly your syllabus. A lot of it was already covered in the boilerplate. So I just want to talk about the course, the objectives, and the assignments. Basically, this class is very self-led. It's not self-paced. We're going to go week by week. You will have chapters due each week that you will have a quiz over, typically a discussion post. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I want from each assignment. You can read for yourself about the objectives. Your required course text is absolutely required. You need it because you will need to cite the page number for your answers on each quiz. That's important. Make sure you get that text. The recommended course text is for the insurance assignment. You may or may not want that. Let's just wait and see. Graded course requirements. There are 2 exams. They cover the reading and they come from the quizzes. So you have these weekly quizzes and you will have a chance, if you get it wrong, to know that you got it wrong so you can correct it when it comes time for your exam. There will never be a question on an exam that you have not seen in my class before. So I know for a fact I'm not testing you on anything that has not been covered. It also reinforces the material and gives you a chance at redemption. That's why I do it that way. Your exams are pulled randomly from the quiz questions, and they're also weighted differently for your benefit. The midterm is only 20% while the final is 25%. Like I said, students tend to do better on the final than the midterm, and that's why I wanted the midterm to be worth more. It also gives you a chance to make up for it at the very end if you need to. Interview paper proposal. Each of you have to write a proposal about your final paper, and your final paper, we'll get there, is an interview. And I need you to identify for me the person that you were choosing to interview. The reason why you're getting 10% for this proposal is I don't want to ask you to turn in anything you don't get credit for, because I want you to get paid points for everything you do. But also, I don't want, with this paper being worth 20% of your grade, you to write a paper and then I find out that the person or organization you interviewed does not qualify. The person and organization you interview has to be in the public sector. Can't be in the private sector. It can't even be a private business that contracts with the government. It has got to be either government or nonprofit. Has to be public. So the purpose of this assignment is to make sure you're on the right track and make sure you find your respondent early, because you don't want to push it to the last minute, especially when it involves another person. It's really easy to just stay up all night and do something, but you can't necessarily ask somebody to do an interview at the very last minute. So that's the point of the proposal. And it gives you a nice little 10% buffer. There's no reason, if you follow the directions and use the template, that should not be 100 for that final percent, that final 10%. Quizzes. Each chapter will have a quiz with questions from the chapter that will appear in your midterm and final. 2 lowest grades are dropped, and that includes zeros if you miss a chapter. The point of the quizzes is to reinforce the material, and I will ask you to make sure that the answers are in your own words as much as possible. Understand with definitions, you might not have that luxury. I take that into consideration. But if I'm asking you to tell me what the text says about something, it's important that you put that in your own words as much as possible. And each quiz will also require you to find a scholarly source about the week's topic. And you have to summarize the article in your own words as well. And you have to provide a complete and correct in-text and bibliographic citation. I apologize, I don't know how that ended up there. The discussion kind of got inched up. Sorry. You have to provide both. You're graded on both. This is supposed to teach you where to find this material and also not put it to the last minute, because you're going to need these articles for your final paper. So it helps if you're getting these along the way. Teaches you to cite, teaches you how to do a lit review. That's good. Discussion, 10% of your final grade. There's a discussion question typically for each chapter. Some weeks we won't have it because of just varying circumstances. You're supposed to answer it thoughtfully and engage with your classmates on the discussion board. I look at the pertinence of your answer. Did you answer the question being asked? Did you stay on topic? The completeness. Did you address the whole question? And also, did you beg more questions? So you answer the question, but I'm like, okay, why? I should not say, okay, why, or okay, how? The value added of the answer. Did you bring something valuable to the discussion? Like the quizzes, the 2 lowest grades, discussion grades, will be dropped. And I also, it's not a discussion if you just go in and post at the last minute and don't interact with anybody. That's not a discussion, that is a monologue. So you were also graded in that I expect you to engage with your classmates. I expect you to post early enough where people have time to engage with you. And I expect you to engage with people in time for them to have the chance to answer. So if you do it right before deadline, that's a problem. I'm going to take that into consideration with your grade. Your final interview paper. Each student will be provided a template to complete the paper on the organization of their choosing. Like I said, template, make sure you're graded fairly. Failure to use the template, making alterations or omissions, it's rejected. Paper will be a minimum of 10 pages because I expect you to bring sources to the table. You've got the interview that should be at least a good solid 5 pages, but then you have an extra 5 to bring something of your own to the table. Just reporting back what someone told you. It's a good learning experience for you to talk to them and learn what they do, but just reporting back what someone told you doesn't really qualify as a paper. You need to critique what they told you. And the way you get those extra pages is you have to have at least 8 scholarly sources published within 10 years in reputable peer-reviewed journals. So you should be identifying these throughout the semester in your weekly quizzes, and you should be learning how to do APA style. Like I said, any paper with significant non-compliance will immediately lose a letter grade. So you have that 10-point penalty. And then finally, there is an optional extra credit assurance assignment. Like I said, the final grade is typically not rounded. So you have to read the book Drive by Daniel Pink, which is a really great book. You'll really enjoy it, I think. And take a quiz based on it to prove you read it. So that's all that's required for that. And everything is on the course calendar to tell you when everything is due. So let's go ahead, scroll past the boilerplate to the tentative course schedule. This may change. I will definitely give you notice, but we are trying to stay on top of it as much as possible. I'm also a staunch adherent to the belief that the first class, which is this week, you get the syllabus and go home, even though we're cramming 16 weeks into 12. So I did my best to condense it, but this week you just have your introductions on Blackboard and your syllabus quiz, and that's all you need to do. You've got this video that you're watching right now, and you should have previously watched the other 2. And then every week we've got the quiz and the discussion. Then you've got your paper proposal due on June 4th by midnight. Because there's 2 chapters this week, I abbreviated the quiz. It's not the equivalent of 2 quizzes. And the chapter 4 debate is for credit, but there's also bonus potential. So it's a debate, and the winner of the debate gets 100 extra bonus points, and that's really fun. Then I'll open the discussion board for Q&A about the midterm. There won't be any discussion for chapter 5 to kind of give you a little break before your midterm. Your midterm will open Tuesday the 19th at 5. Everything opens Tuesday at close of business and closes Monday at midnight. So you have a full week to do everything. And your extra credit assurance assignment is due the 25th at midnight. Now, June 26th, I need to let you know that things proceed as normal. You have a quiz and you have a discussion for bonus points. So basically, because I won't be able to log on readily, I don't want you to lose points that could possibly make the difference in your grade. I will be in Uganda, East Africa, from June 29th to July 5th. I will have very limited accessibility. 40% of houses in Uganda don't have electricity. I'm pretty sure my cell phone's not going to work, and I'm spending quality time with my daughter, which I will be meeting her for the first time. So it's kind of important for me to be able to focus on that, and I won't be gone very long. I am 8 hours ahead as well. So because I'll be limited in my availability, I don't want you guys to have a discussion amongst yourselves where I cannot possibly moderate it and grade you for that. So basically, it's just bonus points at this point. Chapter 7, I'm still going to be traveling, and I'm going to be so jet-lagged. So jet-lagged. So there's going to be no discussion that week, so I can recover and tackle the rest of the semester. Everything's normal. There's another Q&A about the final exam. and your final papers are due July 30th by midnight. And your exam is comprehensive. The reason why is because you don't have the luxury of forgetting stuff after midterms and just focusing on the second part. You have to remember this stuff so you can apply it in your career. You have to remember this stuff for your comprehensive exams if you take those. So I make sure that the exams are comprehensive and you include everything. So it will focus more heavily on the last half, but it will take random questions from the first half. So this is how it's going to go down. If you need me, message me in Blackboard because that's easier to keep up with than email. And also the university told me it's important that I use that function, and I've never used it before, so I'm still getting oriented. If you have any questions, let me know. The introductions might be a good place to ask because I will be interacting with those. All right, I look forward to a really great summer with you guys. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.